So there's always a certain level or a certain amount of drama at BravoCon, and I'm sure if you follow her on social media, on Instagram, or if you follow maybe Dana Wilkie, you are probably already aware of this. But just to make a long story short, Thea from Your Moms Are Watching was at BravoCon, and she was covering a lot of the stories live, recording snippets or even very long excerpts of the show or the different panels. And she was also doing a segment with Dana live from BravoCon in Las Vegas. So to make a long story short, for those of you who do not know, Thea has a book. She wrote a book about, I think it's called Housewives Trivia. And apparently it's supposed to be this game book that is a very good present to give to someone who is a fan of the Housewives, and maybe something that you can play during the holidays or just between girlfriends or bachelorette parties or that kind of stuff, right? So Thea has been actively trying to promote her book, and she was recently on the Heather McDonald show talking about her book as well. So obviously BravoCon is a good opportunity for her to not only see the reality stars that she talks about and has some relationship with, but to also promote her book. So she only had a certain amount of the physical copy that she brought with her, because obviously, it's not a thin book, it's quite thick. And who really wants to have to carry so many books anyways, right? So she only had a certain amount with her. I'm not sure what the amount was. I don't know if it was 3 or 5, but she gave a copy of her book to a whole bunch of other housewives. I think Dorinda got one. I think Erica Jane from The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills got a copy as well. And actually, I didn't see Erica receive the book, but according to Thea, she was very appreciative and she thanked her, and I think she gave her a hug or something. So she was very receptive to the gesture. And the one with Dorinda actually captured that from a video on Bravo TV. Dorinda was signing a whole bunch of autographs for her fans that were standing in line, and Thea didn't want to have to do the line because she's not waiting for a picture or whatever, so she kind of went at the front of the line to just give Dorinda a copy of her book. And then Dorinda, in the midst of the moment, she was kind of like, oh, thank you, and she was like signing the book. Maybe she thought that Tia wanted to have her book autographed, but then Tia was like, no, it's not that, it's for you. I'm just giving you a copy. And then Dorinda was like, oh, perfect, thank you so much, right? But apparently the same did not happen when Thea from Your Moms Are Watching tried to give a copy of her book to Miss Shannon Beador. I think same type of scenario. Thea just kind of like went ahead and gave her the book. Didn't want to wait for her in line, or she didn't want to have to wait too long. She just gave her the book. And then Shannon had, I don't know if it was a knee-jerk reaction, or maybe she didn't understand what was going on at that point. And I have to say that, BravoCon, I've never been to BravoCon, but from what I can see, it seems like a very overwhelming experience. It's over 3 days. You have fans. It's like constant fan and stimuli overload. People are coming you from the left. People are coming to you from the right. People are coming to you from the front or from the back. So I could see that with maybe a person that is dealing with a certain level of anxiety, or someone who's not really accustomed to a lot of crowds. And I'm not saying that this is the case for Shannon Beador. I'm just saying that it could be a little bit of an overwhelming experience. So apparently when Thea handed her book to Shannon was just like, oh, okay. Actually, no, she didn't even say anything. She just grabbed the book, according to what Thea said, and she just tossed it to her assistant. And then her assistant ended up taking the book and just putting it on a chair, and then she rested her pocketbook or purse on top of the book, right? So I guess that kind of ticked off Tia. She thought that was a little rude, or maybe a lot of rude, and she wasn't really happy about that because Shannon didn't, first of all, not acknowledge her, didn't say thank you, didn't say, oh, what is this? What is this about? Or you want a picture? You want a hug? Like nothing. She just grabbed it, give it to her assistant, like, okay, get this thing out of here. And then the assistant put it on a chair. So yeah, so then that is something that really annoyed Tia. She's been talking about it quite extensively in her lives and referencing it and posting stories about that. So if you do hear anything that has to do with Shannon in a book, just know, if you were not aware already of the situation, that that's what transpired at BravoCon. Oh, and I forgot to say, Thea did a little bit of a gangster move. She was just like, oh, no. I'm not just going to give you a book and you're just going to toss it like, you know, like a piece of trash. I'm going to go back and grab my book, you know. So she went back to grab her book from the chair. And then her Shannon's assistant said, oh, what are you doing? Like, I'm just, you know, I'm holding it for her. Like, obviously she's going to have it later on. Like, I'm just like keeping it for her. And then Shannon's like, no, I'm taking my book back. Because Thea, in her mind, she's like, you know what? I only brought a certain amount of copies with me. I want to make sure that when I hand this book to somebody, like to a housewife, that the person actually appreciates the book and is not just going to disregard it in that fashion. So anyways, that was a little story about Shannon Beador. And on a panel, Shannon was asked, obviously, like the big question that was on everyone's lips, the big elephant in the room. So Shannon provided an update on her DUI case. She said that she's going through some sort of rehab program and that she's very grateful not to have hurt anyone. And then she kind of became a little emotional on the panel, and she said she was sorry, that she was really working on herself, that she's going to do some community service and all of that, right? So then somebody asked her, well, not somebody, I guess the host said, you know, what's going on with John, her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend. And, you know, Shannon did a lot of kind of like blaming, like, yeah, you know, like, part of my rehabilitation is to also cut off people that are like not really good for me, certain like relationships and certain things. And I guess like John is like one of those things, or one of those people that she has to stay away from. And then she said, I have not spoken to or seen him in a month, right? So ever since that accident happened on the road and the DUI, she has not been in communication with John. And the host asked her, okay, so no chance of you guys being like, you know, friends with benefits? Which I thought was a little bit of a weird question, but yes, she confirmed that there are currently no benefits to the relationship.